This murder went unsolved for over a year until someone or something kept shouting one man's name. Alright everyone, and welcome back. While I get this portrait started, get yourselves comfy, get a brew, because this story is one of a kind. You're not going to hear something like this again. It was July the 12th, 1942 in Harlem, New York. It was the middle of summer, proper hot day, and the streets were busy. Everyone was out late, and down on the corner of 3rd Avenue and 100th Street, there was a little pub called the Green Parrot Bar and Grill. It was ran by Max Geller, 48. He moved over from Russia and ran the place for 12 years. He was a proper decent fella, sound with everyone. He looked after his regulars, and the place was named after his pride and joy, a big green parrot that sat above the bar. But that bird wasn't just a pet, it was part of the furniture, knew everyone's name, copied voices, and chatted away all night, and saw about absolutely everything that happened in that pub. Just before 11 o'clock that night, in walks Robert Butler, 28, local taxi driver. He was absolutely steaming drunk when he entered the pub. As he walks towards the bar, he stumbles a bit and slams his money down, yelling for another drink. Some reckon he'd won a bit of cash earlier and he was out celebrating because he was a bit of a gambler. But whatever the reason, he was well over the limit, and Max looks at him dead on as he was serving another regular. And then he walks over to Robert, looking at how drunk he is. "No, mate, you've had enough. Get yourself home before you cause trouble." They have a bit of a heated argument. Butler goes proper red, starts shouting, swearing, making a right show of himself in front of everyone, saying Max is serving everyone else, why not him? But Max ain't backing down. He stands his ground, won't serve him another drop. And that's when it all kicks off. He shoves his hand in his coat, pulls out a small 22 revolver, aims it right at his face, and bang! Straight into Max's throat, point blank. It didn't kill him straight away, but the bullet tore right through his windpipe and ripped his vocal cord clean apart. Blood poured out fast all over the floor. Max dropped to his knees, clawing at his neck, eyes wide open. He knew exactly who'd done it, but he couldn't make a single sound, not a whisper, not a name, nothing. Chaos broke out. People were screaming, diving under tables, scrambling for the doors. And Butler, he just put his gun away, turned around, walked out like he'd just popped out for a smoke, and vanished into the dark. Loads of people saw it happen and knew who he was, but none of them would open their mouths to the police at first. They were too scared, too frightened he'd come back for them and their families next. Because Harlem back then was a rough area, and the police questioned the witnesses at the scene. They all said, "No, we weren't looking, I don't know him." Max got rushed straight to the hospital. He stayed alive for 21 days. 3 whole weeks he was aware the whole time, his eyes open, fighting for every breath. But he couldn't speak, not one word. And on August the 2nd, 1942, he died. No goodbye and no justice. The police turned that bar and the whole area upside down. They spoke to everyone they could find, checked every lead, but they got nothing at first. Then months went by, and eventually 2 women who'd been there that night finally plucked up the courage to come and talk to the detectives. They told them they'd seen it all, what the fella looked like, the clothes he had on, how angry he was. But even then, they still didn't know his actual name. Nothing that pointed straight to him, except that parrot. All through that night, all through the days and weeks after, it wouldn't stop flapping about, squawking, screaming at the top of its voice. At first, everyone thought it was yelling, "Robber! Robber!" just copying all the shouting and panicking when the gun went off. But months went on, then one detective sat there, watching it, listening proper, and thought, Hang on, that bird knows everyone round here. It knows all the lads that come in every night. It ain't saying Robert. It was screaming, Robert, 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 over and over, clear as day. That was it, the break they had been waiting for. But who was the Robert that got turned away that night? Who stormed out angry? Who ran straight after? Robert Butler. But he'd already gone. Got into his cab and drove all the way down to Maryland, hundreds of miles away. Thought he'd got clean away. He thought no one would ever find him. Months turned into over a year. Then November 1943, the police finally tracked him down, pulled him into the station, sat him down, and told him exactly how they got his name. He looked at the detectives, shook his head, and said, I always hated that bloody bird. He confessed and said he lost his rag because Max embarrassed him in front of everyone. He tried to say it was an accident, but they knew different. On February the 10th, 1944, he was found guilty, sentenced to 7 to 15 years in Sing Sing prison, all because a parrot. So you tell me, what do you reckon? Did that bird actually see him pull the trigger, or did he just hear Max shout Robert right before the shot went off? Was it just repeating what it heard, or did it know exactly what it was saying? And just think about this. If the parrot wasn't shouting Robert, then Robert probably would have got away with murder forever. Loads of men too scared to speak up, and a bird was the only one that wouldn't be silenced. If you'd ask me, it's a mad story, but it's all there in black and white, all in old newspapers and in old court files. A murder that might have never been solved if it wasn't for the green parrot that kept shouting his name. Let me know in the comments what you think, and don't forget to hit subscribe if you enjoyed this video and want to see some more true crime stories. I'll see you in the next one.